Hello, everybody. I'm Simon Spalter, and today I'm very excited to say that I've got Lydia Edgar with me from Brabiners, who are the legal support team from the LTA, working in conjunction with the LTA. Welcome, Lydia.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to join you.
That's a pleasure. So today is intended to find out what support you can get from Brabiners in conjunction with being a member of the LTA affiliation. So Lydia, tell me before we get started, just tell me a bit about your background. How did you get involved in the legal side of things?
Oh goodness, so I've been practicing as a solicitor for 29 years now, and for the vast majority of those 29 years I've had the pleasure of working in the sports sector, and I lead the sports sector team here at Brabiners, which is what we call a multidisciplinary team, which just simply means that we're a large team of specialists who provide specialist support to clients in the sport space. So yes, been doing that for a very long time. Our clients include governing bodies like, of course, the LTA, and we have been working in partnership with the LTA now since 2019. They asked us to come alongside them to provide the support that they identified was needed and required by their registered venues, county associations, licensed officials, and accredited coaches. So our role really is to provide a helpline through which we are a first port of call, if you like, for venues and coaches with any legal queries that they have.
Okay, so the offer is support for anyone who has affiliation with the LTA. So the helpline, so you phone the helpline, just explain to me, what do you do and what can you offer?
Yeah, of course. So as its name suggests, the support is provided through a telephone helpline. So perhaps it might help to explain what it's not first before we look at what it is. So because it's a helpline, it's not accessible by email. It's through a dedicated telephone number, which I think you're going to share with everyone at the end of the call, Simon. And it doesn't facilitate the review of documents, so contracts and leases and agreements are not something that we can look at under the scope of the helpline. But what we provide is that first port of call through telephone support. So perhaps if I explain how it works in practice. So,
okay, so give me an example. So if, for example, I wanted to consider changes to our governance.
Yes, perfect example.
That was a topic we discussed at a committee. I would just telephone you, and would you give me instant help, or what would happen?
Okay, so first of all, the helpline gives access to 30 minutes free legal support. Okay, now that's great, but we acknowledge that 30 minutes quickly goes. But our aim is always to provide as meaningful advice and support as is possible in that reasonably limited time. So we strive very hard to ensure that callers go away having really learned something and having derived some real benefit from the call. So governance is a great example. It's one of the key areas in respect of which we receive queries, powers of committees, change of governance of articles, etc. So what we would do is we would seek to understand what your current governance structure looked like and to give you advice in terms of the steps that you might want to take in order to achieve your goals and your objectives.
Okay, so I wouldn't give you the topic in advance. I would just telephone the line, say I want to talk about governance, and you would be up to speed on the topic because you've got a broad understanding, you and your team. You wouldn't be able to go into too much detail, I imagine, in that half an hour, but you'd give me some pointers. And would that then lead to something else, or would I have options, or where would I go from there? Because I'm sure not everything would be solved in 30 minutes. Yeah,
really good question. So when a call comes through the helpline, it's met by our very experienced triage team who have been undertaking this role for many, many years. So it's their role to understand the nature of the query. So is it a governance query? Is it about data protection? Is it an employment query? Is it a tax query? They'll then take your details hang up, and then they will refer the query to the specialist in our multidisciplinary team that deals with that area. A callback would be made from that individual who would then be able to support with the query. So what you don't have is a large team of generalists. We are a team of specialists, and your call will be directed to the most appropriate person. Now, turning to your question about is there further support, two things to raise here, Simon. Very often, we can signpost callers to other free sources of information that we're aware is out there, but a caller might not be aware of. Where we can do that, we absolutely will do that. As an alternative, if there is a need for further advice, we're very happy to provide that off the helpline, just through a normal direct engagement between Brabiners and the caller. But we would always do that on a fully informed basis. And what do I mean by that? Cost will always be transparently dealt with. And we have already agreed with the LTA that any work that we undertake on behalf of the tennis community will be very much on a discounted basis, and we'll discuss price options upfront to make sure that there's comfort, clarity, and absolute transparency. And that's something that we do regularly.
You're answering all my questions before I even ask them.
Sorry, I'm anticipating your question. I mean, in a sense, it's easy for me to anticipate, because since 2019, we've supported over 1,300 calls on this helpline.
That was one of my other questions.
Yeah, sorry. So we finish now. So it's, you know, we're very adept at supporting the tennis community. I suspect it's very rare that we receive a query that we haven't received before.
Okay, so from my perspective, you put a call into the triage team. The triage team sees what the topic is, and then you finish the call. And then at some time, which is an arranged time between yourselves and the user, you'll then get your 30 minutes to discuss.
Yeah, it's not always an arranged time, because we undertake to return the call within 48 hours. So you'll get a call back. In practice, very often what happens is somebody will call and will say, I'm on court in half an hour and I won't be free till after 4 o'clock. So if we could have a call back then, that would be great. And of course, we try to accommodate that where we can. If we have to leave a message and arrange a call back, so be it. That's just life, isn't it? But that return call is put in within 48 hours.
And I think that if, for example, you want to discuss, using my earlier example, governance for half an hour, say today, if I wanted to next month, I could call up again, not about governance, but say tax. So I could call up again and discuss tax with you. So I can choose numerous topics, just not the same topic, and get that same service available to me.
Yeah, it's probably a little better than that, really, in the sense that it's 30 minutes free advice per matter. So if you rang today with a governance query, and that was supported through the helpline, but then tomorrow you had a query about a lease that you were being encouraged to consider and enter into, you would have 30 minutes free advice on the lease. And the following day, you might be looking at your contracts with your head coach and require some employment advice. You'd have 30 minutes free advice on that matter. If the following day you have a different governance query, you will have 30 minutes free advice on that different matter. So it doesn't matter that it might be about governance, as long as it's a separate issue, if you like.
Okay.
So there's no limit to that. It's 30 minutes per matter.
Okay, and you're independent of the LTA, but you offer the service through the LTA.
Yes, well, I mean, we're independent in the sense that we're not part of the LTA. We're a law firm that's been established and around for 200 years. I guess you would say that we were linked to the LTA in the sense that they instruct us to provide this support for the tennis community. But what I want to stress is that we do not, never would and could not share with the LTA any information about the queries that we receive in terms of who they're from, what they're about. There is confidentiality observed, obviously, between ourselves and those who use the helpline. The only information that we would share with the LTA, and this is very much in agreement with them, is general management information. So periodically I might explain that we've had 30 calls about employment law and 20 calls about a very specific tax issue. And that's really important to the LTA,
Yes.
because that allows them to identify where they can be providing further support
Yes.
to the community in terms of training and education and written pieces on the website. But it's very generic. It's not about the queries themselves.
So that was going to be my question. Did you give them feedback like that? And you did. So that's great. So before I forget, to contact you, you dial 03330 433 232.
That's correct.
What hours can we get through to you if we want support?
So that's from 9 to 5:30, Monday to Friday.
Fine, great. And if it was 5:30, we'd have the 2-minute quick call, and then we'd probably get the call back the next day or the day after that.
Yeah, I mean, it being absolutely realistic, we would probably just stay till 6 o'clock to deal with the call. But if for whatever reason the specialist that you required wasn't there, was in a meeting, was on holiday, whatever, it would be the next working day.
Right. Well, what a great service you and your team are offering, Lydia. And thank you very much for joining us today. And I will now promote what you offer. And I'm sure people will come on board and with lots of questions for you going forward. Thank you very much.
Look forward to it. Real pleasure. Thanks, Simon.